Quick links: romancing the Trapper in Hooked on You. Evan McMillan, whose alias is the Trapper in Dead by Daylight, is one of the killers that the player can pursue as a romantic interest in Hooked on You, a Dead by Daylight dating sim. As a character from the original killer trio, Evan is presumably well known amongst fans of the multiplayer survival horror title. Accordingly, there will be many to get to know the Trapper of Dead by Daylight in a more intimate fashion by taking him out on dates and engaging in affectionate activities. However, for the protagonist of Hooked on You to successfully charm this wealthy serial killer, correct choices for various decisions must be made throughout the course of one's playthrough. The opening inquiries within the volleyball court do not matter much, except for unlocking some extra dialogue. However, the first decision in Hooked on You that the protagonist must ensure they get right is choosing the Trapper's yacht when being asked where they wish to go. After boarding his luxurious boat, he will offer the player an assortment of appetizers. Act bewildered by saying the phrase, "You can't choose." A short while later, Claudette and Dwight will appear, serving some more food to the protagonist. To effectively spark interest in the killer from Dead by Daylight, the player must be rude to the host and hostess by saying, "Get rid of them." Then, after several more dialogue scenarios, the protagonist must choose which character they'd like to spend time with. Naturally, the choice should be the Trapper. Romancing the Trapper in Hooked on You. Now that the player has officially stated the Trapper is the love interest they are pursuing, they must make the following decisions below, provided by YouTube creator D-Strike, with the corresponding choices to successfully woo this killer in Hooked on You. It should be noted that while most minigames do not affect one's ending with the Trapper, achieving a perfect score during the meat-cutting minigame will unlock a bonus event with the Dead by Daylight killer. Scenario No. Event or dialogue. Best response. Scenario 1. After the bottle spinning and meat-cutting minigames, the protagonist will be asked why they are not eating. Choose the phrase, "This is gross." Scenario 2. When the player wakes up on the beach, the Trapper will be holding them. Once he notices they are awake, he shares some friendly dialogue before offering to show them a scroll. Say no. Scenario 3. The Trapper wants to spend some time away from the other killers. Choose to follow quietly. Scenario 4. The Trapper shares a story about when he fought a bear with his bare hands, after which he asks if his feat was incredible. Say that what he did was magnificent. Scenario 5. The protagonist and the Trapper will return to the group for a storytelling event around the beach campfire in this Dead by Daylight dating sim. First, the player must choose from whom they'd like to hear a story. Select the Trapper. Scenario 6. After his tale, the Trapper asks the player what they think. Tell the Trapper, "Now that's a story," to receive a gold coin. Scenario 7. The protagonist meets with the Trapper near the swimming pool, where he asks what they honestly thought of his campfire story. Say, "Honesty is important." Scenario 8. The protagonist is tasked with telling the Trapper what they thought of his cleaver toss. Laugh at the Trapper to receive another gold coin. Scenario 9. Before day 1 ends, the player can choose whom they want to spend the night with by the fire. Choose the Trapper. Scenario 10. After the opening dialogue of the following day, the player must choose between two killers to take on a date. Select the Trapper. Scenario 11. After arriving at the Trapper's hideout, he tells the player to stay away from the water before asking if they understand why. Assume it's a trap in Dead by Daylight. Scenario 12. The Trapper will say that the protagonist should keep their distance from the cave's entrance. Choose the defiant phrase, "Don't tell me what to do," to receive another gold coin. Scenario 13. Shortly after, the trickster will appear and ask if the player is in love with the trapper. Tell him no. Scenario 14. Taken aback by the player's seemingly negative response, the trickster asks why. Tell the trickster that you're loyal to trapper. Scenario 15. After the trickster leaves, the trapper asks the player what they'd like to do. Choose to snoop around to receive another gold coin. Scenario 16. The huntress will show up and talk about how the trapper has no interest in having a family or kids. Tell the Dead by Daylight huntress, no, you're remaining loyal to trapper. Scenario 17. The trapper is curious if the protagonist really does not want children. Say no. Scenario 18. Back at the trapper's home, he presents his drawing of the hillbilly to the player. Tell him that it's terrible. Scenario 19. After meeting back up with the group, the protagonist will be asked how their date went. Say nothing. Scenario 20. It is time for another campfire story with the group of killers, and the player is asked to tell their own story. After agreeing with fine, it'll tell a story, choose the following: adventure, no, you were kidding, action. Scenario 21. After the protagonist's story, they must choose a killer from Dead by Daylight to tell another tale. Choose the trapper. Scenario 22. The player must express their thoughts after the trapper finishes his story. Say nothing. Scenario 23. The player must choose with whom they want to spend their time. Select the trapper. Scenario 24. After arriving at the swimming pool, the trapper asks if the player knows why he chose the spot. Tell him, it's another test, followed by survival. Scenario 26. The trapper will ask the protagonist if they would spend the night with him. Say, maybe, maybe not, followed by telling him that you understand. Scenario 27. At the end of day 2, the player is given a choice to eliminate one of the killers. Avoid choosing the trapper. Scenario 28. On the third day, the player will be given a bouquet of flowers. Pick the trapper. Scenario 29. At the start of the date, the trapper asks what the player wants most from the island. Tell him power. Scenario 30. The trapper lets the player ask him one question about himself. Ask what he wants in a partner. Scenario 31. After returning to the trapper's hideout, he will ask the protagonist if they want to see the underground tunnel. Tell him, only if he promises not to kill you. Scenario 33. While in the tunnel, the player must make the following choices while speaking with trapper. Tell the trapper about true romantic heartbreak, followed by tell him his father raised him right, before asking, is he okay? Scenario 34. Shortly after, Mr. McMillan from Dead by Daylight, the trapper's father, will appear and ask the protagonist several questions. Answer Mr. McMillan with the following answers: never, a partner in crime, literally, yes. Scenario 35. After the trapper momentarily leaves, the player can choose what they want to do while waiting. Look around to find a gold coin. Scenario 36. The trapper returns and is ready for action. Say, finally, let's do this. Scenario 37. The trapper will ask the protagonist what they thought about their activity. Say, meh. Scenario 38. After returning to the beach, the trapper asks if they would murder for his sake. Tell him that it depends on the person. Scenario 39. The trapper will ask several final questions before the playthrough reaches its conclusion and unlocks the good ending and Hooked on You with the killer. Answer the trappers with, no, I would never kill any McMillan, and yes, I love trapper. Source: D-Strike. Release date: Dead by Daylight franchise, Dead by Daylight platform, PlayStation 4, PC, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series 10, Xbox One, Stadia. Released the 14th of June 2016. Developer: Behavior Interactive. Publisher: Behavior Interactive. Genre: multiplayer, action, survival horror, horror ESRB. Hooked on You, a Dead by Daylight dating sim franchise, Dead by Daylight platform, PC, Steam. Released the 3rd of August 2022. Developer: Psyop. Publisher: Behavior Interactive. Genre: dating sim, visual novel, horror ESRB. Summary: in Hooked on You, a Dead by Daylight dating sim, players will get the chance to romance or befriend one of 4 killers from the synchronous multiplayer game Dead by Daylight. Players can choose the Trapper, the Wraith, the Ghost, and the Huntress for a prospective partner on an unknown island riddled with surf, sun, and other activities. Players must choose their words wisely, or even a comedic, seductive comedy such as Hooked on You can turn deadly quickly. These are killers, after all. Hooked on You is a visual novel game with a choose-your-own adventure progression style, released on August 3, 2022.
My heart returns to you. Dinner, you were great. We can go back to mine if you want to. You look so good. I want to do that. I must be tripping. God, catch my breath. Oh.